my name is William Justice. I make videos on Davinci Resolve and Fusion. Today, I have 3 awesome effects that you can use in your projects. But before I get into the effects, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for your response to my last video. It was kind of a difficult video to make, but it's something that I wanted to share, and I got great support and response from everybody. I think the Resolve community is awesome. So just everybody, thank you so much. And I'll keep you updated on how things are going. The first effect is a pop-up effect. You can apply it to text, graphic, video, or anything that you want to pop into the screen and then pop back out. The second effect is based on my split reveal macro that I did. I created it a while back. This new update lets you use it as a timeline effect to create some split animations on text, graphics, or anything else. The last effect is a page turn transition. It's based off of a video I did a long time ago, and now I took it and set it up so that you can use it as a Fusion transition from the timeline, so it's a lot easier to do. If you enjoy my videos, subscribe to my channel, like the video, and comment below and let me know what you think. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, I'm also kind of excited because I got this guy in the mail. You may see him in an upcoming video or may not. I have this idea in my head. I'm trying to make it happen. If it works, he's gonna be in the video. If it doesn't work, you may never see him again. But we'll find out. I'm gonna give it a try. It should be interesting. And even if it doesn't work, I may let you know what I was trying to do and why I completely failed. So we'll see what happens. All these effects are available from my website, buildjustice.com. The first effect is the JustPopInOut effect. This is a timeline effect that you can drag onto any clip. I'm gonna show you the different options on it and then take you a little bit behind the scenes to show you how I set it up in Fusion using my Just Timing Curves macro. Okay, let's start with the pop effect. We're gonna take this background here and slide it down just so that we have something interesting to look at. And we're gonna start with some text. So let's go to the effects library and click on titles right here in the toolbox. And you'll see there's a text and a text plus. Unfortunately, this doesn't seem to work with the text. The effects don't seem to work on the just regular text, but they will work on the text plus. So let's take text plus and drag it into our timeline, and we'll size it up. And let's adjust the text. Make it a little bit bigger and change the font. Let's add a border around that text. We're gonna click shading, go to element number 2 and enable that. And you see we get that little red border around there. That's the shading element. So let's set it to black and make it a little bit thicker. Okay, so there is our pop-up text. I like it when things kind of pop up and then they pop back down. I think it's an interesting way to have things come on and off the screen. So in the past, what I would do is I would go to the node, the graphic, in this case the text, go to the settings. I would keyframe the first frame, go over about 5, 6, 7 frames, keyframe it again, go back 1 frame, and I would bump this up just a touch so it's gonna pop up a little bit bigger and then come back. And then I would click this arrow to go back to the first frame and take the size and just bring it all the way down. So we got a nice little pop-in effect. Then what I would do is I would do that on the back end here. I would keyframe it and have it pop back out. Works pretty well until you start resizing things or if you want to change the timing, and then it can get a little difficult. So let me show you how much easier this is with the new effect that I created. So let's reset this transform. And all we need to do is go to the effects area. Now this has been already installed, so I'm going to show you how to install the effects in just a little bit. And you see this just pop in and out. So you take it, drag it onto the text, and you're done. So it pops in and then it's going to pop right back out. So we can adjust the length of the clip and the animation is going to adjust to that length as well. Now, so this works also for text, but it's also great for videos, other graphic overlays, really anything that you want to bring onto the screen. So let me just show you how that works real quick. So we'll go to the media pool. We'll drop this Resolve logo in here, size that down. And if we want that Resolve logo to come on off the screen, let's see, let's first size it down a bit, like that, and we'll take the effect and put it right on there. And here's what we got. That comes up, then Resolve comes in, comes out. It's that simple. So let's take a look at some of the options. There's a little quirk here, and it's with the positionings. If you position it with the standard settings tools right here, the transform, let's go ahead and do that. So let's take this and slide it over to the left and back down. So because the effect, everything is centered in the middle, everything's based off of that, it's gonna zoom from the center out to the side. So you may like that effect and that works fine. But if you want it to pop in from right where the text is going to be, we need to adjust the position in the effects area. So let's go ahead and reset this position. I'll put it back in the center, go to the effects, and we can adjust the center position here and bring it back down. and you'll see what's going to happen is it's going to pop in from the spot where we have it. An easier way to adjust the position, obviously you can use these settings right here. We can come down to the overlay section and choose Fusion Overlay, and that's going to put up something that's going to let us just drag it around, which is a lot easier. We can put it exactly where we want it. Let's put this back in the center. So the first thing here is a pivot. So this pivot is kind of like the other positioning. This is going to be where it zooms from. So if we wanted it to zoom up from the bottom of the screen, we could take this pivot and put it right down here. It's this little X. And you can see it's going to zoom from that spot right there. So we move this really anywhere we want. It's going to touch on the angle in just a second. Frames animations, this is how many frames the animation is. So right now it's over 7 frames. So if we wanted it to come in a little slower, we could put it at 24. And this is a 24 frame per second timeline. So it's going to be a second animation here. It's going to come in and come back out. The other thing is this start angle. So let's reset the pivot. We're in the center. So we can give it a little twist as it's coming in. So we can take the start angle and move that so it kind of spins as it's coming in. So if you wanted to spin more, you just make this angle a lot bigger. Let's bump the animation time down a bit, it'll be 12 frames. And 360, so that's going to spin 1 full rotation as it comes in. You'll notice that it's spinning right around the center, so we can adjust that pivot to kind of create some different effects. So if we wanted it to spin in right around where the P is, the beginning letter, we can put the pivot right there, and you're going to see it's going to spin in like that. 180, a little bit longer there. Look at this one go pretty slow. We'll go ahead and reset the frame animation here to 18 frames. There's a motion blur option. So the last option here is easing. This uses my just timing curves. I'm going to show you this in just a second. Really easy to set up, but we can do the in and out, and this is for the beginning part of the animation, and then this is the in and out for the end part. So for example, we could set this to none and court, and this is going to affect the coming in. Let me show you how easy this was to set up this effect. Just kind of take it behind the scenes just a little bit. Let's go to effects, and we're going to take a fusion composition and drag that in and get into fusion. All right, so let's set up this effect. We're going to start with a background and connect that up to the media out, and we'll use this Resolve logo to do the animation. So we take the Resolve logo and merge it right on top of the background, and there we go. So everything happens here is in a transform node. So after media in, we're going to add a transform node, and we're going to basically be animating the size property right here. That's all we need to do. To use that, I use my just timing curves, which is based off the anim curves from Resolve 17. It lets you animate something in the beginning frames. It holds the value and then automatically animates something out at the end. So let me show you how this works. So we're going to hit Control Space on the merge and search for just timing curves. We'll add that in. And let's take a look at it here. You can download this from our website. It's in the resources menu. So everything happens right here in this user tab. It defaults to starting at 0, holding with a value of 1, and then ending with 0 at the end of the animation. So if you look at this value right here, this is the current value of the animation. So you'll see it starts at 0, and as we play it, it goes to 1, and it holds, and then at the end of the animation, it's going to go back down to 0. This is perfect for the transform because the size goes from 1 to 0. So if we can animate a value between 0 and 1, we're pretty much done. So let's go to the transform. We'll right click on size, choose expression, and all we need to do is say jtc.value. And we're going to have the size is going to go from 0 to 1. Then at the end of the animation, it's going to go from 1 back down to 0, just like that. So with the JTC, we have some other options. We could have the size, the size start at 3, go to 1, and then down to 0. It's all kind of customizable. So it's going to start 3, go down like that. Just kind of showing you how this works, some of the things you can do. It goes back down. In our case, we want it to start at 0 in the beginning of the animation, hold at 1, and then go back down to 0. So the other thing we did is we had the twist. So for the angle, we're going to right click on transform, and we're going to add a field for the angle. So we hit edit controls, and I think I called it start angle. And the range is, the values is going to be from -360 to 360, and it's going to be a screw control. So let's add that in, and as soon as we did that, we get this new tab over here, and this is our user controls. So this is going to enable us to set an angle, and I'll show you why we're going to do this in a second. So we want the angle to start at something and spin in as it goes to the full size right there. So we could hit angle, choose expression, and we could say 180. So it's going to spin the graphic around 180 degrees. We're going to multiply that times 1 minus JTC.value. So what this is doing is when JTC.value is 0, it's going to be 180 degrees, and as JTC goes to 1, it's going to multiply 180 times eventually 0, and it's going to reset and do the spin in. So you'll see here, it spins in and then stops. The reason I added the start angle right here is so that we can customize this. So let's say if we wanted it to be 15 degrees, 15.7. So we'll go to here, and as opposed to 180, let's just type in start angle. And you'll see it spins just a little bit. Let's bump that up. I'll throw it this other way, and we'll have it spin a lot. So this is the field that I used for the macro. So after this, all I did was highlight these nodes and created a macro out of them. The last thing you may want to look at is in the modifiers. This is where all the code is that makes this thing run. But you'll see that there's these easing curves right here. So we got the sine, and the sine, if we wanted it to bounce back, we could hit the, choose the bounce right there. And then it has a little bit of bounce on the end. With the way this is set up, you don't really even need to go in here. You can just do it all from the timeline. So that's one of the great things about the Resolve 17 is you can take a lot of this complexity and package it up in a macro, and you can use it directly from the timeline, which makes it a lot easier and a lot more efficient. Now let's take a look at the JustSplitInOut. It's similar to the one we just looked at. You drop it on and your text, graphic, or image, and it comes together and then splits back apart. Okay, let's clear out this pop text, and we're gonna start. I'm gonna show you the split animation. So to do the split in and out effect, all we gotta do is go to the effects area in the effects library, scroll down, and we're gonna find just split in and out. So all we gotta do is take that and drag it right onto our text. So I have a nice animated split text effect. This will work for graphics, videos, or really anything else. Let me go through some of the options here. This was built off of my split reveal macro. So I wanted to take, this is what I've been wanting to do for a while, to take that and build it to something that you could use in the timeline. I always thought that macro had way too many options. So this is I removed some of the options, so it's hopefully a little bit easier to use. It's not quite as flexible, but I think it helps out not having so many different things that you need to do with it. We're gonna go to the effects area. And this one works kind of the same way. The positioning, so you can adjust the position from right here. We can adjust the fusion overlay to move the split around. And you'll see the effect is happening right up here. Let's go ahead and reset that. The first option is the angle, and this is just the angle of your text or the object. This one is a little bit slower. It's not as smooth in the editor, but it still works once you render it. We'll reset the angle. So you'll notice that we have the text coming in two pieces right here. There's a part from the left and a part from the right. We can take the split angle and move that around. So for example, if we set it to 90 degrees, we're gonna get a little bit different kind of an effect. We're gonna have two pieces coming together and meeting in the middle. Okay, so let's reset the split angle. So now it's gonna be the left, it's gonna be split like this. So you get to decide how it's split. You can even kind of have a kind of split like that if you wanted to. These are the different positionings. There's the start and end. So this is the animation in the beginning. So the horizontal animation is left and right. So you see that it comes in like this. Now if we flip it to right to left, you'll see that the different sides change. We could set that one to none. And we could have the start animation be vertical. So we're gonna have vertical, say top to bottom. And you see it's kind of a reveal from the middle. It's because they're coming up from the middle. If we flipped it bottom to top, same thing works with the angle. So we could take this angle and set it to 90 degrees, the split angle, and it's gonna reveal this way. The pieces are gonna come in top to bottom. They're gonna be split horizontally. So we could even have it come in left to right, and say we're gonna leave bottom to top. Frames in and frames out work the same, so if you want it to go faster or slower, you can adjust the frames. These are the easing curves for the horizontal animation and the vertical animation right there. And in the advanced, there's an offset, so you can kind of create this built-in split by adjusting the offset to kind of leave it like that. And then there's also a motion blur option. So a few different options to play with, not as many as the original split reveal, but it's probably gonna be a little bit easier to do. And it's great that you can access it directly from the timeline without even having to get into Fusion. The last effect is the page turn effect. It's really easy to use. You just drop it on like any other transition and you get a flippy page turn. Okay, the last thing we're going to take a look at is the page turn animation. So let's get rid of some of this split stuff. We'll get rid of that one, get rid of that one, Fusion. And this one is just a standard Fusion transition. Okay, so we got our basic background. Let's go to the media pool and we'll drag in another image. These could be videos or anything. Shrink it down there. And we just want to set up a transition between these two. And this is another video that I had done a while ago, and it was done before Fusion transitions. So it's something I always wanted to update to make it a little bit easier. So I'm not big on using a lot of transitions, but this one was kind of interesting. And it's how I learned to use the DVE node and a few other things. So there's a tutorial on how I set this up. I just took it and converted it to a Fusion transition. Just took a couple minutes. It was really easy. So let's go to the effects library and click video transitions. And we're going to scroll down, and this one is called JustPageFlip. We'll take that and drag it right in there. And we're done. We've got a nice page flip transition. So there's not a lot of options on this one. As with any transition, if you want it to go faster, you can shrink the size of the transition down there. It'll go a little bit faster. The only other thing you can do with it is there's a motion blur option, and you can adjust the motion blur to kind of get a nicer, smoother effect on the transition. So all of these effects are available for download from my website, buildjustice.com. Okay, so here are the 3 new effects on my website. There's the pop, the split, and the page flip. These may or may not be here depending on when you're watching this video. I kind of shift things in and out of this area. So if you're looking for them, you can't find them, you can always go to the timeline effects and click on that. And you'll see that there's the pop and the split, and you scroll down, and in the transitions area, there's a page flip. And I'm planning on adding more stuff into this over time. If you're looking for the just timing curves, click on the resources, and there's just timing curves here. And you can download this, and there's a little bit of information on how you can use it and a lot of the different options. I didn't really go over it in a lot of detail here, but if you feel like playing around with it, give it a try and let me know what you think. So to download and install these, the pop and the split are going to go into the effects area, and the page flip is going to go into the transitions area. So you click the download button, and it's going to download a zip file for you, which you can open up and extract the .settings file. And all you got to do is copy that to the correct location on your computer. So let's go back over to Resolve. To find that location, the easiest way is to get into Fusion, so you can be over any clip here in your timeline and click Fusion. We're then going to go to Effects Library, click the Effects Library, and select Edit Templates, and then Effects. And these 3 little dots right there, you can click those in a Show Folder. You copy the pop and split effects right into here. They're in the Fusion Templates Edit Effects folder. For the page flip transition, all you need to do is click on the Edit right here and go to Transitions, and you copy the JustPageFlip.setting file right into this folder. And once you do that, they'll all be available directly from the timeline. So you'll be able to click on the video transitions and the effects and be able to find them and just drag them on there. Okay, thanks for watching. I'm back to making videos, and I'm really excited. I have a lot of plans. I hope you enjoy these 3 effects. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, leave them down below in the comment section. If you like my channel, if you enjoy my videos and want to see more, please subscribe. Thanks so much for watching.